The figure above shows a regular hexagon with sides of length A and a square with side of length A. If the area of the hexagon is 384 root 3 square inches, what is the area in square inches of that square? So this is a compound figure where you have a combination of two shapes, a hexagon and a square. And we're being asked for the area of a square. Keyword here is regular hexagon. Remember, if you have the word regular, it means all sides and all angles are congruent. Now, with that said, let's try to break this down to something that's more understandable. So what if we give it a center and we make a triangle out of this like that? We are told that the side lengths of that hexagon are A units long. So this is going to be A from there to there. Oh, and by the way, because this is a regular hexagon, we know that this side here is A, which means the sides of this square are also A and A. Since we're noticing that the answers are in number form and not variables, it means we have to figure out what A is. And that's the reason why we were given the area of this hexagon. If it's regular, remember all components are equal. There are 6 equal triangles in here if you subdivide this. So if we take the area of the hexagon given to us, which is 384 root 3, and you divide this by 6, because there are 6 equal triangles in here, you will find that that is going to be 64 root 3. The area of one of these triangles, let's focus on this one, is 64 root 3. Now, the area of a triangle can be found by saying 1/2 times the base of that triangle times the height of it. So currently, for the triangle that we are working with, this one right here, we have the base, so we know the area is 64 root 3 equals 1/2. We have the base, and that's A, that's given to us right over here. But we don't have the height. We would have to calculate the height of it, and to calculate the height we need a perpendicular bisector like that. So what that does, it cuts this base into half, so we now have each half is A over 2. Half of A is A over 2. But we still need the height here. Good news is we've learned how to work with right triangles, and using our knowledge we know that all these angles added together equal 360. Well, there are 6 equal angles there, so that means this entire angle here is 60 degrees. When we cut it in half, we made this 30 degrees. So what you're seeing here is a special right triangle. That's what it looks like this. We have 90 degrees right here, A over 2, 30 degrees right here, and H. We have to figure out H so we can plug it into our equation right over here. So using our knowledge of the 30, 60, 90 triangle, by the way, the drawing of it and the formula and the relationships are given on the test. It's on the front page of every math section. And it says, if you have the short leg, and we do, to find the hypotenuse, you always say double the short leg. So A over 2 times 2 gives us the hypotenuse of A. Well, we don't need the hypotenuse this time, but I'm just letting you know. What we actually need is this height right here. So the rule says, if you're given the short leg, once again, A over 2, to find the long leg, which is adjacent to the 30-degree angle, you always say the short leg times the square root of 3. So we know that the height, in our case, is going to be A root 3 over 2. Guess what? We can take that number and we can plug it in right there. Let's go ahead and do that. So we now have 64 root 3 equals 1/2 times A times the height, which you just found, is times A root 3 over 2. And now our goal is to solve for A, because once we have A, we can then find the area of the square as required. So on the right side, this is just multiplication. 1 times A root 3 is going to be A squared root 3 over, the denominators are just 2 times 1 times 2 is just 4. So 64 root 3 equals that. We want to get A by itself, so when we multiply both sides by 4, times 4 and times 4, the left side ends up being 256 square root of 3 equals A squared square root of 3. Why? Because these 4's canceled out. So to get A squared by itself, we're going to divide both sides by our square root of 3, as shown. And of course, these root 3's cancel. So we're left with A squared equals 256. For the astute, you might have already noticed that this is the answer to the question. Why? Because the area of this square is just side times side. Well, we have A times A for our square, so that would be A squared So a squared is 256, which makes a the answer to this question.